Okay, here we go with this. Yes, counting this rhythm challenge. 60. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 4. 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and done. 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 4. 180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So, I have basically done a little overhaul or revamp, whatever you want to call it, on this whole down with the pickness idea. So, kind of thinking more about how the first, like the palm mute accent thing went and how you're able to go faster without the palm mute accent thing. It got me thinking, more about what really is the best way to do the whole progressive overload approach with this. Like, how should it really start? Because it is more difficult for sure going between a palm mute and not palm muting. It just requires more effort. So I thought maybe the best thing to do is actually start with all palm mutes, and then eventually get back into doing the accent thing where you got palm mutes and no palm mutes, because it does sound a lot more interesting for sure, but it is going to slow anyone down really when they're trying to get these things as fast as they can. So what I got here is basically 5 rhythmic patterns with 3 variations each. And I'm going to be doing more. I figure this is plenty to get started right now. So the idea is 1 per day. I really don't think pushing it 2 times or doing 2 different ones a day is safe, smart, because as you experienced yesterday with what we worked on, it's physically demanding for sure. So we're going to have like the same kind of approach though. So this is pattern 1.1 on the screen there, and it's all palm muted. You could do it without the palm mute, but it sounds heavier with the palm mute. There are drums programmed in here if you ever want to play along with it, but I find it more efficient to just use the metronome because you can just move it up whenever you need to, and it's easier to change. You don't have to fiddle with Guitar Pro. But a lot of people are going to need drums to follow, and some people just have more fun with it. So anyway, that's an option in the file to follow or not. But so yeah, just like yesterday, starting with that first little snippet, just getting the rhythmic pattern down, max that out, like go as far as you can with it. And then the next step, let's do it like this. So let's say you get up to, we'll say 275 with this. Instead of decreasing the speed right away, just go for it here. Go for the 275. Give it a few good tries, and then start decreasing the speed by 5s until you're able to make it all the way through. So maybe you have to decrease the speed from the 275 down to 260. Cool. Now you go for the 2 times through, and then see, can you play it twice through at 260? And if not, then you start to decrease the speed until you can play twice through it, whatever speed it was. And then, play it 3 times through, and then finish with 4 times through. Now, I feel that 200 beats per minute, which is what it says at the top here, which is being cut off. There it is. 200 beats per minute is a really good down picking speed. What is it? Master of Puppets is like 212, what I was reading. Of course, in the recording, they played it slower and then sped it up to make it sound tighter or whatever. But they can. I know that they can definitely play it faster or do the down picking faster than that live. But that's kind of like, you know, you hear metal guys talking about like that's like a gold standard in down picking speed. So I figure 200 is a pretty good minimum to shoot for. So if we want to talk minimum speeds, playing that 4 times through at the end of each file, 200. 200 is a good one to shoot as a minimum, shoot for a minimum speed for good kick-ass down picking speed and endurance. But the way this is set up, it's like, yeah, just one a day. So you got 15 days worth of stuff right there. Because so after you got this one, the chords, then you got single notes on just the one string. Same kind of idea, max that out. And then whatever you max out at, try doing it here. Decrease the speed by 5s until you get all the way through it. And then try it twice through. Decrease the speed if necessary. And just, yeah, keep adding the repetitions till you get 4 of them. Now, yeah, and then number 1.3, now where you got, you know, the E and the A string involved. So just pretty standard metal stuff to do there, going between the E and A on like palm mute riffs. Yeah, and then pattern 2.1, we increase the amount of downstrokes happening, and then starts with the power chords, then the single note stuff, then going between the E and the A string, and then it just gets a little bit more challenging as we progress from one pattern to the next. So if your arm feels fine and you're not too mentally exhausted or physically exhausted, and you want to try another pattern, like maybe do 1.1.2 the same day, or, you know, just use your best judgment. You're already a really damn good player, so you have good instincts, I would believe, on like when you can or should push yourself further or when to back off. I just feel like I gotta be cautious with these things, because some people, they go a little bit too bonkers with pushing themselves, and then they do end up getting hurt, and it's like, oh, how did that happen? And so, yeah, like if you're, I definitely would not exceed 45 minutes of really struggling and pushing your physical limitations with this stuff. But even then, that might be pushing it, because if you're like really, you know, going hard at it and pushing and struggling and straining, then like basically the harder you push yourself, the higher the risk of causing some kind of strain. So I just, you know, be cautious with it. You can either train hard or you can train long, but you can't do both. The saying I heard another guy give on a fitness channel, I was like, you know, that's quite true with this as well. So, yeah, so like as far as like recording video, playing anything, I think what would be good is just record the 4 times through stuff. I think that'd be really good. So let's see how this goes. Yeah, and again, we're going to get into palm mute accent patterns again. But I think just doing it like this for right now is a great start, a better start to easing everybody into faster down picking and more endurance with it. So, and this is going to be another full-fledged training program. Like, this is the start, and I'm going to be putting it into, you know, the ebook format that you've seen, you know, hosted online, put it up on Patreon, and start growing this thing. And then eventually get all the video demonstrations with all of it too. And because we got so much stuff up here, I figure, well, It might take too long to actually do videos on it, but you know, when we meet up, or you have any requests, like you want to see me demonstrate any of the specific ones, let me know. But yeah, any questions, let me know. Good luck. And right, all that stuff you did send. There's no way I would ever be able to, at least at this stage in my game, be able to transcribe stuff the way that you did with the pen and paper. I would make so many mistakes. I need that crutch of Guitar Pro to make sure that I'm actually inputting things correctly. Because I'll like input some stuff and think like, yeah, that's definitely it. And I listen back to it. I'm like, what the hell? Like, that's not right. And then I try and figure out the rhythm again. Like, oh, okay, well, that's where I got it wrong and whatnot. So, yeah, I need that little safety net. But, yeah, the playing sounded great, for sure. It always does. Always does. You're a fantastic player. Okay. Any questions, let me know. I'll see you again next week.